My name is Courtney Hagan. This is my CAP video regarding the article in which Sammy J. Spann, Frank W. Kohler, and Dylan Sorensen recount their study examining parents' involvement in and perception of special education services. Parent participation has changed drastically across the board since the 1980s, but this is especially true of parents with children who have special needs. Rather than depending on professional educators for support, young legislation has made parents equals with school personnel in regards to access to records and design and evaluation of services. In spite of the benefits that come from parent involvement, such as greater generalization and maintenance of gains, continuity and intervention, and more effective problem-solving strategies, most parents are not involved far beyond attending their child's IEP. Many parents report not being invited to give input, not being given choice in services, difficult communication, and more. Collaboration between parents and school is not helped by educators' sometimes negative or distrusting perception of families. The study outlined in this article aims to dive deeper into parents' involvement and perception of special education services. The experiment conducted by Spann et al. Includes 45 families with students ages 4 to 18 in public school. These parents were found through a parent support group, which arguably is a flaw in the design of the experiment, as these parents already demonstrate a level of involvement and have extensive information on their child's disability, best practices, and legal rights. The method of study was by interview with a 15-item questionnaire focusing on the student services, communication with school personnel, and priorities and satisfaction with school personnel and services. 73% of the students whose families were interviewed spent part of their day in a general education classroom, and speech therapy was the most prevalent service provided. 51% of families reported communicating with the school personnel once a day, and 31% reported communication 1 to 3 times a week. Families with younger students reported more communication than families with older students. 91% reported communication focused on their students' progress or behavior, while 75% reported brainstorming solutions to problems. About 1/3 reported disagreements with school personnel. Ultimately, families of younger students reported higher satisfaction with their student services than families of older parents. 78% of parents reported moderate to high knowledge of their students' IEP, and 73% reported satisfaction with the IEP building process. 56% reported moderate involvement with the development of the IEP. This involvement was higher among families with younger students than families with older students. Regarding student needs, the most common need reported was social and communication skills, followed by life skills, occupational skills, challenging behavior, and finally community or leisure time activities. Nearly half the families reported that schools were not meeting these needs. This number was exceptionally high among families with older students. Ultimately, the study found that most parents are by and large satisfied with their students' special education services, but also feel that services are not fully addressing their students' most pressing needs. A consistent finding was that parents of older students reported less satisfaction with communication, involvement in IEP building, and schools' ability to address their students' needs. More research needs to be done to connect this trend to one of the following questions. Are special education services changing as students get older? Are parents changing their expectations and/or involvement? Or are parents and educators' perception of each other changing?